Tell you about Tom Fordham's try scoring. You were surprised that they were surprised that he scored so many. Can you just repeat that answer again?
Yeah, I was surprised that they were surprised. Really. No, I mean, basically what I said, what I kind of said was, you know, he's a good footballer playing in a team that play a bit of rugby and do score tries. So it shouldn't be a surprise when the combination links together. And obviously, you would still think it potentially would be a back, but. You know, we've had quite a few years where forwards have scored a lot of tries for us because we don't necessarily play in a way where our wingers stand out on the wings and then they're the guys who just finish things off when we create opportunities. Quite often the opportunities we create are for pressure moments through the middle of the pitch or breaks through the middle, or our wingers creating momentum for us that other people finish off. And there's no doubt, you know, we have got an improving forward pack. And so we have created 5-metre scrum opportunities, we have created driving opportunities and pick and go chances. Tom can be very good at finishing those off, you know, and he's got an eye for being the guy on the ball at the important time, hasn't he? And I think, you know, they're just qualities that have fitted together very well, and they're part of the ingredients that we're trying to add all the time at the club.
And presumably when you signed him, it was with those sort of pick and goes and those sort of moves in mind.
Well, I think most of us in the coaching game would realise that say you look at the scrum as just one thing, you know, the need to be an actual football off the base of the scrum is multiplied again. You know, when in the old scrum laws with the hit, power over the ball, we all pretty much used anybody as a number 8, because what used to happen is the ball tended to be at their feet, and if you were going forward it tended to be a penalty, or it was relatively easy for a scrum half to play it away. Now scrums are movable things, aren't they? They are wheeling and shifting, and some get played away, some don't. It's just a different position for a different type of footballer. I think it's just suited Tom. We went out for that kind of a guy, and it just so happens that, you know, they've meshed together very well.
How big a game is this next week for you, and how do you manage to replicate that kind of intensity?
Well, that's the $1 million question for me. The biggest challenge for me as a coach is not one I've ever been in before. So, you know, I think this is probably the nearest to probably the second leg, the Bristol away game, when we had to get promoted, as regards the kind of emotional pressure that there'll be, because we've come through a tough game here today. The guy, you know, rightly so, the guys are in the change rooms in quite high spirits. Well, they've got to actually get themselves back to a working level pretty quickly by this Tuesday, and it'll be a great challenge for us, because you look at the table, and if we don't want it to come down to Leicester not doing so well against Northampton, we have to. Well, I think we have to win on points difference over Saracens. I think, is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
London Welsh. So, you know, there's some huge challenges for us this week.
The Suns are quite tough, aren't they, Rob? Realistically.
Yes, they are.
Do you accept that?
They are, yes. But again, you know, a win today kept things alive for us, and we have to keep it alive for as long as we can, and that'll be hopefully right till the last minute of next week.
You've lost a lot of games by, you know, very small margins this season. Was there a point at which you thought, Christ, it's going to happen again?
Yes, because there's no doubt that we've played Saracens plenty of times now, and they tend to come through these tight ones. We've quite often been in tight games with Saracens for quite a long period, and then them come through and squeeze over the top at the end. So it was nice to come out the other side. And I think that the nice thing for me from a coaching perspective is we're getting to play teams like Saracens and Leicester and Northampton. We're getting to play the top sides quite a lot now, and that's good for us and bad for them. That's the kind of way I look at it, really, in that we're still improving. We learn from things like happened today, and we learn from other experiences we've had against these sides, and I think that really helps us become a better side.
Was Jack Nowell not playing because it was a plastic pitch?
Yes, 100%. Jack Nowell just at this stage still doesn't react well to rubber crumb. It was just purely a player welfare decision.
One more question on Waldron. Are you surprised that England haven't used him more in recent time?
Well, yes and no. I mean, if there was probably an area where England feel relatively comfortable with where they are, it's probably around that back row, back five. You know, I think, you know, when Ben Morgan was up and running, you know, if you start to think they probably feel very comfortable with Billy Vunipola, Ben Morgan. You know, there's some good established players in there now. You know, your Rob Shaws and Woods, and you know, so I can understand why they're comfortable in that area and making changes maybe they feel they don't want to make. I can understand that, but I think both Dave Ewers and Tom have been in great fettle, and I think the important thing for us as a club is to keep guys like that in and around this top four and in and around these big games, because that's their showcase. That's what will give them the best opportunity to get those call-ups. And the same with a lot of our other younger players.
Rob, I'm not trying to lead you into deep. Well, I probably am trying to lead you into deep water here. It cannot be, can it, a satisfactory situation if you can't pick your optimum 15 because of a surface?
No, but at the same time, what we're hoping with Jack, and Jack in particular, is that he has had still a relatively recent operation to address something. The plan will be that he will be able to play on rubber crumb at some stage. It isn't that where he's just, that's it, he's done and he'll never do it in his life or whatever. You know, we were talking today with our medical this week with our medical team that if this was the be all and end all of the season, this was it, there was nothing else, you know, when we'd be able to pick him, and we're hoping that will come relatively soon. So I don't want to get into the debate over surfaces and bits and pieces. That's for another day with another person, right?